Hey guys, Jermaine, Leanne and Theo here. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello. And we are here with our weekly video again this week. And really sorry for missing our drop last week. We were actually on our family holiday, and it's a little bit about what we want to cover, which are some of our key reasons why you might want to go to Disney with a baby.
Yes.
So, Pop, you want to give a bit of background on this?
Okay. So we were planning our holidays with Theo. Jermaine and I enjoy travelling, and that's something that we wanted to carry on doing when Theo was here. So we had a good think about the places that we may want to take him and what we wanted to do, and the types of holidays. And Disney was one of the ones that we really wanted to do with him. And so we just looked into it, and it seemed like a really good one to go to. It's our first family holiday that we did.
It's true, and we kind of looked at a lot of different options. So we're based in the UK, and so some of the key things that we were thinking about is what is the duration of the flight.
Can you get direct flights? That was a big thing.
Absolutely, we absolutely wanted direct flights. What were the facilities going to be like on site? And we had quite a big short list of places which we can cover at some point. But we landed on Disney for a few key reasons. Should I start with the first?
Yep, you go ahead with the first one.
So the first really for us is looking at how easy and I guess in some respects relatively cheap it was to fly to Disney now that Theo's only 6 months. So if you think about it, we had considered previously maybe waiting a little bit longer before doing that bigger Disney trip. Waiting for a point where Theo may kind of remember things a little bit more, right? So say from the age of 3 upwards. But one of the ironies is at that point you end up having to pay for his flight. Pay for a seat on the flight and pay for his park ticket. Whereas now at only 6 months, his flight cost was a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, I think it does vary by airline, but
True.
it's usually quite a small percentage.
I always thought it was about 10%.
Yeah, I think so. 10% of the adult fare.
Yeah, we paid on this trip. We paid I think 10% of the adult fare. For Theo to come with us as a lap infant, and he also didn't need to pay for any theme park tickets.
No. That was a big one because they can be quite expensive.
That was a really big one. So anyone who's done the Disney trip before, you'll know how expensive it is to get the Disney tickets. We also got SeaWorld, and so we managed to, when we looked at those expenses, it pretty much evened itself out. And so that was a big deciding factor in us choosing to do that kind of trip, because Theo's he's only really eating his milk and we started weaning him now. So food wasn't really going to be a problem over there.
Because he eats very little bits at the minute because he's only just started weaning. So
exactly. And at this kind of age, as a lap infant, but also because he's not crawling or walking yet, it was really the case that it was just for him to. It was just the case that he was sitting with us. He didn't really take up much space.
No.
And it was really easy for us to have quite a comfortable flight with him. And as I say, it was in a pretty cost-effective way.
Yeah, I think so. And the other good thing is that although he doesn't get his own seat, he does get his own luggage allowance.
True.
Which is good. So for that, say 10% of the fare that you pay for him, he does get his own luggage allowance, which is useful. You have to take a lot of stuff.
That's true. So I think if you're looking at doing that kind of bigger trip, then do remember to think about the cost saving that you might make on things like on flying now versus the cost that you might incur a little bit later on. And sometimes you might find that it does actually work out pretty much the same actually doing the kind of trip now.
Yeah, and I think you covered the two important things. So it was the flights and the park tickets. They were going to be the big expenses.
That's right.
So obviously the hotel cost is the same whether he comes to you paying for a room.
Yeah.
So it is the flights and
the hotel
tickets.
Well, actually the interesting is the hotel cost is not always the same, because some hotels charge you for extra person. So if you were to have an extra person in your room, they may have an extra person surcharge, whereas with a baby it was just a pack and play. He wasn't really classed as an extra person, as it were. Just had a pack and play. They provided all of that free of charge, and so we didn't actually pay anything extra in that respect.
That's true.
So it worked out pretty well, because once you've had all of that expense kind of offset, then when you're in Disney, well, we were only really thinking about food and drink for the two of us.
Yes, because obviously we took our own food and stuff for Theo. So
because for Theo, it was just his milk, and we bought some solid food over there. But actually, it works out a lot cheaper than if we were to have, say, a 3-year-old, and we may need to spend a bit more
buying lunch, and
Buying-
snacks, and
Yeah, exactly.
Those kind
Buying
of
what I
things.
call proper food.
Yes.
And we've seen before that can be a huge expense.
it really
Yeah.
can be.
So I think that was
Definitely.
definitely a big factor for us, and I feel like we did probably save a little bit of money doing it now versus doing it in a few years' time.
Yeah.
What's point number 2?
So point number 2 is that Disney World, and I think Orlando in general, is just really child-friendly, baby-friendly, which we kind of thought about a lot before because we wanted to go somewhere where we kind of be well catered for Theo, you know, in terms of just if there was anything that he needed that we needed to buy, we knew we'd be able to get it there. But one of the biggest things actually was in a lot of the parks they have baby centres. So if nice places to go, get out of the heat and do like nappy changes and things like that in a nice cool environment with lots of space, which was a big thing I think in the baby centres.
Yeah.
Was the space that you got. And also they sell items in there, so if you need milk or baby food, nappies, wet wipes, all of those kind of things, they sell all of that in there. So even if you've forgotten something, you've got all the way to the park, then you don't need to leave to go to a shop. They have everything.
Yeah.
They have everything there. And
That's
usually
true.
you've got a first aid centre near the baby centre as well, so it's kind of really set up to cater for children and so that you can properly look after
That's true.
your baby.
I think a big thing for us before going out there was really just we wanted to try and feel really confident wherever we were. And so as Leanne said at the beginning, this was our first flight ever with Theo, and so we didn't have any experience and didn't quite have the confidence to kind of really know what to expect. And so when we were looking, we were thinking to ourselves, we want to just make sure that if we have any questions or any concerns, we didn't have to ever look very far to get help.
It's very true.
And I know no matter where you go, people would try to help you, but we really were deliberate about wanting to make sure that there were trained, skilled people on hand to give us that kind of support if we needed it.
Yes.
Or even, and then also just kind of mixing it with the convenience factor, that if we're weaning, and as Theo's still got quite a few, specific kind of like baby type needs, let's make sure we've got things close to hand. So like the baby centre and that kind of thing. Because funny, you don't know exactly what you need to take. You don't know exactly what stuff you might need when you're on the move.
And it's so easy
know.
to forget something, like
Yes.
to not think maybe things that we don't use that often in the UK, like if you need suntan lotion or something like that, obviously it's hot so you may not forget it, but even if you did, then they have all of those things there because they're just fully set up.
That's true, and we had on the trip a kind of a really funny example where we had bought 2 industrial boxes, one of nappies, one of baby wipes,
Yes.
and somehow I managed to not have any baby wipes for Theo. We had hundreds,
Lots of packs in the hotel room. We had a
hundreds,
whole drawer full of them.
because we just thought, no problem, we'll buy them, they're quite cheap, we can take them back to the UK, and I somehow managed to not bring any with me.
It was quite funny.
It was ridiculous.
We took Theo to get changed. It's like, Jermaine, where's the baby wipes?
Yes, and then I held my head in shame. So when you think about just how easy it is to sometimes get a bit of baby brain as a parent, it's good when you've got things on hand that you can just easily get the help that you might need.
It's very true. And I tend to find because Disney's kind of set up for families and children, everyone there as well is so friendly and nice, and they kind of interact with the children as well. So Theo had a great time kind of interacting with all of the people that work there, and they were so interested.
And I think actually
in him.
on that point, and I love that point, one of the things like for us is when you're pushing your buggy in somewhere so busy, or certainly for me, when you're pushing the buggy in somewhere so busy, you may stop a little bit more frequently, or everyone knows actually, as with a buggy, you always have these kind of unexpected stops where you might want to check in on baby, and sometimes in less child-friendly environments, that's not always well received. But I think Disney was the kind of place that, quite frankly, we could just do that. You can, and people understand.
It's true. Or if like Theo's maybe a bit upset or something like that and he's crying, then it's just completely normal, so nobody's kind of giving you funny looks.
People
or
are more
anything
willing
like
to try
that.
and help,
They
more likely to try and help you. Which again, for us, it was a confidence builder. I mean, I think so much of what we always talk about as a couple, in terms of how we're parenting, is let's try and build each other's confidence, and also try to build Theo's. So let's try to encourage him to express himself and soothe himself, but also let's try and encourage each other
Yes.
to not always think something is wrong, but try and understand that he's trying to communicate with us.
It's true.
So that's a good environment for doing that, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, and one thing that I forgot to say as well actually is in terms of the baby friendliness for heating up bottles and food and things like that. So you can do that in the baby centres. They've got microwaves and bottle warmers, but also in any restaurant they'll also help you with those things too. So, do you want to go see Daddy? Yeah, they'll also help you with your warming up of bottles or food for your baby. So yeah, they're just fully set up, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Baby. So I think that's number 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then the third one was actually just how much fun it is there, and how we thought with Theo now, we thought with 6 months he'll be interacting, awake more during the day. He still has naps, but he's awake for a lot longer during the day. So actually having something where there's a lot for him to see and to do was something we were looking for as well.
Definitely. And I think almost a little selfishly, when a lot of parents reflect on the kind of, on the first year of their child's life, that time goes quickly, right? We all know that goes quickly. And it was so precious to have that kind of experience where we could see Theo just engaging with these, like, all the songs and the environment of Disney, but we could see that from quite an early we could see that and share that experience with him. And I mean, I've got completely vivid memories of his face lighting up when he saw parades or was engaged with characters, or when we went on safaris, or when we saw the shows at SeaWorld, for example.
It's so true.
And I think if one of the things that we are really keen on is to make sure that we always capture as much as we can in this first year. So as much experience as we can, let's capture it in this first year, and let's create massive memories.
It's so true.
Because we never want to lose that.
No, and I've got, like Jermaine said, with the vivid memories you have, and Theo's face lighting up. So I remember we were looking at, there was a huge fish tank with all these fish, and he was just fascinated by these fish swimming, and you could just see him in awe, kind of looking and following the fish around, and it was just wonderful.
It was amazing. And it's
so
nice. It's all these kind of small things that I think when we look back at this, at how this year's gone, and when eventually Leanne may go back to work full time, and when Theo kind of grows up a little bit more and he may be in things like nursery, we can always look back at this experience that we've just had to that we've wanted to share with him, and there are so many firsts there. So it's be it the fish tank, or when he's swimming in the larger swimming pool, or like I say, the safari, all the shows. And what is great about Disney is there are actually a ton of rides that he can go on.
There are so many rides that don't have height restrictions or anything like that, so you can take a child of any age on them, even younger than Theo.
That's right.
6 months, so.
I mean, we found, I think Magic Kingdom was by far and away the best for amazing rides for him.
It's very true. I think there's actually only a couple of rides that Theo can go on in the Magic Kingdom. It's really baby friendly in terms of rides. And
what we plan to do is actually go into a little bit more detail about all the different parks, all the different things that we did, and some of the different tips and advice we've got for the specific places that we visited.
It's true. We did a lot of planning beforehand. So
yes.
Yeah, we definitely share all of that with you.
So we definitely plan to share that in future videos, but we just wanted to kind of cover those kind of 3 kind of key points for us. Oh, Theo clearly agrees.
Yes.
We wanted to cover those kind of 3 points for us on why we decided to go to Disney.
Yeah, because I think you get a lot of questions when you say you're going to Disney about, why are you going to Disney, or what made you choose that when he's so young. And so we thought that we would share our thinking.
Yeah, completely. So just to recap then, Disney in itself it can be incredibly cost effective to go compared to some other places, and if you ever want to go, you might find it's a bit cheaper to actually go now than it would be to say go at some point in the future, when you might think that your child would remember things a bit more, but you may incur a huge amount more cost.
It's true.
In actually going there. Would be the first.
I think the first. The second one was about just how baby friendly it is.
Yeah.
Just being completely set up to cater for children of all ages. So taking a baby there is relatively easy, I think, compared to a lot of other places, because they do have everything on hand that you would need.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we hadn't mentioned is even things like the Disney shuttles.
Yes.
And there's so much transportation free and readily available, and everybody is expecting you to have a buggy
Yeah, and lots of bags.
and lots of bags, and you can get that kind of help. So it's wonderfully baby friendly.
It is true, definitely. And then the third one was about just the fun factor.
That's it, and the
fun
ability to create those memories.
Yeah, fun for us, and definitely watching Theo's face kind of light up when he saw all the colours and everything moving, and the fish and
Yeah.
animals and stuff like that was just, yeah, so wonderful.
That's right. I mean, we've got a camera reel full of pictures and videos that when we look back at this year, and you know, obviously when you that first year is a huge transformational year. So when we look back at it, we've got these incredible memories of a place that we know and enjoy. But for me, everything has just been made so much better because this little boy was there.
Yes.
He could have all of his first experiences, and when he gets older, he can look back at those pictures and videos, and he can remember those incredible experiences. Look at him; he's even Disneyed out there.
He has got his Mickey
a bit of
Mouse
Mickey,
on here.
bit
And
of
his
Mickey
Buzz Lightyear
and some
t-shirt.
Buzz Lightyear. So guys, I think that those are the kind of the three key points that we really wanted to cover, and we're going to go a lot deeper, sharing some of our ideas and research and the different things that we found at the specific parks.
Yes, yeah, we'll definitely do that.
And you know what we'd really love is if you have got any specific questions, just fire them across. You know, send a message or post it and post in the comments. You can also follow us on Instagram. We're at Monkey and Barefoot on Instagram,
Yeah.
and we're going to be posting a load of our pictures from the trip, so you can get a sense of the different places that we've been, and you can see, and we'll post some little videos of Theo doing his thing over in Disney.
Yes.
Which should be pretty cool. And of course, if you visit our webpage, www.monkeyandbarefoot.com, we're going to be having all our blog posts on there, and our blog post will have, again, it will detail everything that we've been doing, all our planning, and we'll go into a little bit more written detail about some of the parks and our thinking.
Yes, definitely, and definitely the rides and the shows and things that
Yes.
don't have any age or height restrictions.
That's it. We've got tons and tons of research that we're going to be uploading to www.monkeyandbarefoot.com, and we're going to really try and get sharing some great information to help you with your Disney planning. And I think that kind of info on the blog is going to be useful irrespective of what age your child is.
Yeah.
So even if they're older, there's going to be some great stuff that you can benefit from there.
Definitely. I
Yeah?
think that's so true.
Good stuff. So look, please keep tuning in. The next video is going to drop next week, Sunday, and the blog posts are going to be coming quite soon as well. So please stay tuned. Enjoy the content. Enjoy what we're doing, and yeah, we look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Definitely
please.
speak to you soon.
Definitely, and so if you've liked what you've seen and heard here today, please hit the like button, and please hit the subscribe button to keep giving us that support and feedback to let us know that we're hopefully helping you.
And if you know anyone else who you think would enjoy this or find it useful, then do share it with them.
Definitely, please do definitely share. All right, thanks guys. Really look forward to speaking to you again soon. And please drop your comments in the box below. Definitely hit subscribe, please. We definitely need that support. And if you can share this with a few of your friends, anyone who's got kids of any age, let's please keep connected, keep sharing, and hopefully benefiting from the future Disney posts to come.
Yes.
All right. So guys, have an amazing day. See you soon.
See you soon.
Take care. Bye. Monk,
Bye.
say bye.
Bye, Theo. Bye bye.
Hey. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.